What's up everybody? Today we're back with another video. To continue on from last time, we're going to be making how viable is Faith in Dark Souls today. We're going to be taking a look at all the improvements they made to Faith in Dark Souls and see if these new improvements do make it viable even in the new landscape. I will say right off the bat, Faith is much more offensive than in Demon Souls. Demon Souls literally had only one offensive Faith miracle, and in this one we have like 7, 8, maybe more. I feel like they did lose some of the defensive capabilities that they had in Demon Souls, especially the overpowered one, a second chance, but there was no way we were getting that back. So today, let's see how viable is Faith in Dark Souls. Let's get right into this new playthrough. You already know I gotta go with our favorite pastor, Johnny Sins. Sex? Only males. Good starting class for Faith, we kind of have to go with the cleric. For our starting class, you're going to see why we choose the black fire bombs a little later. I was going to ask y'all if you've already seen Johnny Sins, but I think we've all seen him when he's been a bit vulnerable. That man does not skip any workout, so we're going with a large upper body. So now I'm going to get Johnny's eye color right, and I've stared into that man's eyes enough times already to know that they are blue. I'm not the best at character customization, but I tried to give Johnny the chin he deserves. And that's about it, so let's just head into the game right now.
Light and dark. From the dark they came. But soon the flames will fade to only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
We grab the dungeon cell key, break on out of here, climb this ladder, and light our first ever bonfire. We meet our first boss, the Asylum demon, and create a new category with him, giving him the BBFB treatment. That's the first boss kill of the run. We go and collect all of our equipment from our starting class, and we skillfully avoid the boulder. And we rob Oscar of his Estus flasks. Thank you, man. We grab our first talisman that we're going to be using for a while, open the door out of the asylum, and use the oldest form of transportation, Big Bird. We arrive in Lordvessal, where we can now officially start the Faith run and start leveling up. For our first damaging miracle, we have to get Faith up to 25, so we're just going to want to pump that up right at the beginning and ignore any other stats. Just because you get knocked down, that doesn't mean you can't turn it into an opportunity. You can already see the step up in difficulty, seeing as how already the basic enemies dodge. We get jump scared by the dragon that's going to cause us a little pain later. This enemy leaves a pretty nasty mark on me, allowing me to show you an example of using the heal miracle. We grab our next bonfire, continue leveling Faith, march on forward to the Taurus demon, and give this enemy a bit of that priest penetration.
He needs some milk!
And for a nice bit of souls, I want to kill this Black Knight, so we're just going to start parrying him to death. With enough practice, you can do this pretty consistently, and with all the souls he gives us, we can put in... I don't know how I fumbled that first attempt, but we're back. Hit him in the balls! After beating Black Knight first try, we head on up to the Taurus demon, kill the undead with crossbows, and bait him on into jumping down. This is just a nice, calm, easy one-on-one. And one thing, I actually stagger him. I don't remember being able to do this. Like, he's such a big guy, I don't assume. Ow! But at the end of the day, it's not that hard to take him down. And after defeating him, we get a nice 3k souls to level up with. We kill the Taurus demon, and now we have access to talk to Solaire, pretty much the embodiment of Faith. And man, I wish I was him.
Oh, aha. so I didn't scare you.
You could never scare me, big man.
The sun is a wondrous body, like a magnificent father. If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
You already are, Solaire. You already are. We bait out the red dragon, have him burn the enemies on the bridge to a crisp, and run over the dead bodies to get to the shortcut. Kick the ladder so we can access our bonfire, and with all these souls we can level ourselves up to a nice 26 faith. Have the dragon show us that stanky ass breath once again, and run past him as he goes to check up on us. Damn, that's actually a really good friend right there. Get the bonfire that's just right behind him, and with a minimum of 25 faith we can now join the Warriors of Sunlight. And it's really important we do this because after joining this covenant, it gives you the first miracle to deal damage, Lightning Spear. We only have one attunement slot, so I replace heal with the Lightning Spear, and this thing, you're about to see the damage it does. This miracle is so strong right off the bat, it almost kills the Black Knight, leaving him with just enough health where I can just hit him with my mace again. And to show another example of the power of faith, we can just kill this boar with one lightning spear. I didn't even do any damage. That dude was untouched. Like, I feel like a real bully when I just one-shot some of these people. This really is just a compilation of just the power of Lightning Spear. Like, I just hit him right after. Like, it's over. It's over. My whole objective is to just reach the soft cap of 50 at face, so we're just going to keep on leveling that up. There's another miracle that I want in the future that is going to be rewarded by Siegmeyer, so we go and talk to him outside of Sens Fortress. We visit the most goated blacksmith right here, Andre. Collect our first Firekeeper soul. Take the shortcut to Firewing Shrine. Damn, I'm ugly. And on these chests, we also pick up a talisman. If you don't pick the priest, but you still want to get into miracles, there is a talisman here right off the bat, but it doesn't scale as well as the canvas talisman. As Johnny Sins, I'm used to women, but I have 5 skeletons or more just sticking their bones all up in me. Oh. Great Heal Excerpt heals 8 times your magic adjustment of your talisman. Pretty much in most cases, it's a full heal, but you can only carry 1 at a time, so I don't recommend using it. Homeward acts as a homeward bone and just takes you back to the last bonfire you sat at. I use it for grinding, but it's really not that needed. You get a homeward bone after most bosses and they only cost 500 from certain merchants, so I don't think you really need this at all times. Force is just gonna force most enemies out of your way and projectiles. It's not bad now, but once we reach medium enemies, it will stop sending them back. Seek Guidance will just reveal more multiplayer messages or developer hidden messages within the map. If you're new, I guess go for it, but I don't even see the benefit you can get from this. I think what you get in the game is usually enough. We talk to the Firekeeper to reinforce our flask. Get our ass back up to that church. Almost died to the undead blocking our way. Back up because I know this dude can do a lot of damage and he's already gone. And to our religious routine during this run, we also gotta kill Lautrec. Lightning Spear does immense damage, so this shouldn't take them. Okay, so he dodged out the way. Luckily, that's fine. If we just hit him with the next one, he dodges. A good amount of NPCs will just dodge out the way of this, and I actually run out of all my Lightning Spears. Our mace is unupgraded, so we just gotta go back to Unreliable and parry this dude to death. I never noticed he had a red Tearstone ring.
You despicable.
We walk past the fog gate, so we can now finally try the Lightning Spear against a boss. These dudes are supposed to be a threat, so I assume this is going to take like most of my Lightning Spears to even take them down, and no, it's not. The first gargoyle goes down in just 3 hits in total from range, and his brother ain't that different. He actually spawns in with half HP and just does the fire breath attack, just standing there as I wail him with lightning spears. We climb up the ladder so we can ring the first bell of awakening. We encounter Oswald of Kareem, who offers a unique talisman and unique miracles. Karmatic Justice activates after you get hit 4 or 5 times. I don't think it matters how much damage you're actually taking, it just activates after those amount of hits. But it releases a big AoE around you, dealing damage to anybody in its path. It can be useful if you're more of a defensive build, but I usually just tend to not even use it, especially in PvE. I don't even really PvP. Next up, Velka also sells his talisman, which uses intelligence instead of faith to scale with the miracles. So if you have more intelligence, it is better to use this talisman, but To use miracles, there still is the faith requirement tied to them. So you still have to invest into faith to use the miracles. And in that case, why not just level up faith and not even go into intelligence? I don't see much purpose in this talisman.
You're not welcome. It is only human who can never sin.
No distractions, just continue leveling that faith until we hit 50. I usually find the Titanite demon pretty difficult, but because of our lightning, we can just stay farther away and kill him with range. There's still some equipment and souls I want to get, so we hit the Darkroot Basin. We go and get the secret bonfire. And only recently did I find out that this tree actually is alive. Like, this enemy, I've only recently encountered too. What are these? But we run past the Stone Guardian so we can collect our next ring, the Wolf Ring. This will really help us avoid getting interrupted during our miracles. And now the next fight is the Moonlight Butterfly, and I should probably not aim at things when they're moving. But with the Moonlight Butterfly actually down here and her being much slower, we can actually hit these lightnings. With 6 lightning spears, we take down the Moonlight Butterfly and we go up and take that Divine Ember. I'm going to be entering Blighttown through the back door, so we go down Darkroot Basin. We encounter another Black Knight blocking our bonfire, but his shield cannot fully resist lightning spear, so we just keep on spamming that until he dies. We start to pass through the Valley of Drakes. I try to get this item in the cave, but I stick to the Drake like Velcro. We collect these items off this dead dragon and skillfully dodge away. And this dude can't move, so we just pelt him with even more lightning. Since we're Johnny Sins, you know we had to enter through the back door. It's definitely much easier to get to Quelaag via this way. We take the elevator down to the base floor and collect the bonfire in case we need it. We have to walk our way through a bit of sludge and just walk on in. Boys, we have just started November, alright? We cannot lose this early. Please, just please hold on just a little longer. Come on, you can do it. The only thing that can distract me are Vanguard's cheeks. But with Quelaag, her attacks are pretty telegraphed and she does take time to vomit up lava so you can get distance. And even without investing into health, I can still survive at least one attack. After she attacks, she has a good amount of recovery time which you can use to spam even more lightning. That's just the plan. We bring her to so low health that I decide I want to use the mace, so we end off pounding her with... wait. We have to get the second bell anyway, but we decide that we're going to spend more time here. I jump through the fake wall. I think this dude's name is pronounced Igni, but we decide to pledge our allegiance to the fair lady. And we can take on Ceaseless Discharge, so we head on down to the Demon Ruin, and we decide to take his sister's drip. And I think I can just leave without any consequences, but he just decides to smack my shit out. But I still want to do the cheese, so I decide we're going to have to lure him back to where we got his sister's clothes. I have the Dragon Crest shield to reduce fire damage, but I think I just didn't do it at the right angle because I take full damage from both of them. This attempt goes much smoother as he doesn't do that whole sweeping attack. I don't even know what the thing is, he has a chance to hit me. He actually tries to hit me like right here. Like, I'm not there. Before he comes to the beginning, he does try to hit sort of fire attack, but we finally block it. He does the jump, showing us that we got the cheese correct. And well, so now we're just going to start bashing him with our shield. We don't have to use our real equipment. We can just bash him with this. And I do feel bad for him. But this is a nice extra boost in souls before we even go to Anor Londo. But before we leave, I think it's pretty wise to just go get the Chloranthy ring from the Great Hollow since we're already here. Also, I remember there is a Firekeeper soul here. But before we fully head out, we decide to go and grab it. And no, the dogs don't let us leave alive. But with the key, we can head on up to New Londo, and I head back to Undead Parish just to realize I never pulled the lever for the goddamn bell. This is fine because we need Rhea to spawn, and in order for her to spawn, we still need to kill the Capra Demon. So I decide to just start farming off the Stone Guardian so we can buy the rest of the miracles off Petrus. Once we have the souls, I just buy Force and Homeward off of Petrus. We make our way to Lower Undeadburg. I also go behind this fire so I don't have to kill the dogs myself. These spies or whatever they are, they don't stand a chance against any more lightning. And we open the shortcut from Lower Undeadburg all the way to Firelink. Once we're in the Capra Demon's arena, the dogs should be an issue, but because we have the Wolf Ring, we're not constantly getting staggered by them. And since we already beat Quelaag, Capra Demon can't resist our lightning for that long. The Gaping Dragon will also net us a nice like 25k souls, so I decided it's also beneficial to go down here. Again, these butchers aren't even a problem, just 2 shots with the lightning spear. And we also are here to get the large embers so we can upgrade our weapons to +10. We go over to the rat and I miss the plunging attack. This rat is very quick for me. Even though we have him on the ropes and we just have to hit him one more time, he still ends up taking me out. Yeah, what the hell are you gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do now? Come on, eat this lightning bolt. For the homie, we have to save Laurentius. And we enter the Gaping Dragon's arena, but I didn't kill the sorcerer because I didn't feel like I had to. Hit the snout of the dragon to score some extra damage. And again, as long as we maintain our distance, we're fine. Even that sorcerer hit didn't even matter. And with the Gaping Dragon souls, we are so close to hitting the soft cap. And now with the Capra Demon dead, Rhea and her cronies spawn up here to continue her quest line.
What have we here? You look awfully raggedy.
I can't wait to fucking kill you, dude.
I know to explain the urgency of our tasks. Or are you so uncouth as to lack such judgment?
I don't even know what uncouth means, but I know you just roasted the out of me. Oh yeah, and we also ring the second bell, so not even important at all. We head into Sens Fortress, and I also wanted to get this soul tucked away in the corner. I'm so good at balancing on ledges that I fall off of it. I thought Force would be a useful miracle to use in Sens Fortress, but it really doesn't push these guys at all. It's almost like a little stagger from breaking their poise. Oh no, it does send them flying, but just these particular ones that send lightning your way. I almost die and I'm left with just a smidge of HP. And I think if I jumped just a little bit higher, that would have done enough damage to just kill me. We jump past these 3 enemies, and then we force this serpent to take this ball to the face. And we find Siegmeyer so we can continue his quest line from here. We run past the path with the boulders, and also acquire the Ring of Steel and Protection to help us survive some hits later on. Ignore this miss for a second, but this is to show how long Lightning Spear really takes to build up, and in all that time, he karate kicks me. I don't know what this. When the enemy isn't pulling martial arts moves out of their ass, I can actually kill them with Lightning Spear. In order for Siegmeyer's quest to advance, we have to turn this device so that the boulder won't be rolling down his direction. We get the secret bonfire because I do not want to be going up here again. I pull out the Lightning Spear against this giant, and he shows me a very vulnerable part of him. You know, it's not my fault that he showed his ass to me. Before we can make it to Anor Londo, we have to defeat the Iron Golem. He's big, he's slow, he only has a bit of range, and I'm pretty sure he's weak to lightning, so this is just perfect. He does hit me once with the axe at range, but even at base health, I can survive like 3 of them. Again, this is getting very repetitive, but we take him down with 9 of our lightning spears. We go back and get the cage key, and we also go back to get the flame stone plate ring, and finally we can go into Anor Londo. We're almost halfway through with completing the game, and once we beat Ornstein and Smo, we have access to get the rest of the miracles and equipment we need for the rest of the run. I think I need to be sponsored by Manscaped because I absolutely shaved this gargoyle's nuts by almost hitting him down there. These dudes are pretty tricky, but as long as you wait for them to come back down, you can reliably hit them with some lightning spears. We go up this beam to make it inside to this church. I almost died to these painting guardians, and the reason I don't is because this one dude decides to just slow walk to me.
Treat me like white teeth, don't get me dirty.
The one thing I would recommend here is to also be careful with how you use your lightning spear, since it forces you to go forward just a little bit, so give yourself some space. Once through, we just have to rotate this lever so we can now make our way forward to Ornstein and Smo. But if you continue to lower this structure down, we're met with another bonfire and also a new ring that's pretty much going to be on us at all times, the Ring of the Firstborn. This ring will make pretty much most miracles stronger by 20%. This is a huge help since all we have right now is Lightning Spear. but once we add more offensive miracles to our list, the value of this ring will increase dramatically. Also, we finally hit the soft cap for faith, and I decided to start putting more points into vitality and endurance. We gotta make our way inside, so we skip past the giant and go up the ramp with the archer knights. I brought force to see if it would work on them, but that's also a no-go. I think medium enemies just won't get pushed back. We retreat so we can heal ourselves, but we see that the silver knight is nowhere to be seen, probably with a chalk outline down at the base floor. And as a reward for getting past that obstacle, we get to see Solaire next to our bonfire.
You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me.
Whew. Solaire almost caught me, oh my god. Can't let him know that I dream about him every night, oh god. To get our next offensive piece of equipment, we go through this invisible wall. We're going down here so we can collect Havel's armor and to replace our right-handed weapon. The Mimic is holding what I want, so as we take him down, we now acquire the Occult Club. I haven't upgraded our mace because I knew I was going to be acquiring this weapon earlier on. It's a club with the Occult upgrade path. Occult adds magic damage and also scales off of faith. So this is just a pretty big upgrade from what we had earlier. And right here is an example of a pretty big step up when we wield this club. To skip most of this, I just jump over this guardrail on the stairs and we go and find Siegmeyer, who is currently stumped by 3 silver knights. Siegmeyer wants this room cleared out of any enemies. He thinks we need like 4 or 5 more people, but he doesn't understand I have lightning spears. After clearing this room, Siegmeyer thanks us, gives us a new ring, and then we'll see him at Firelink Shrine where we'll need him there pretty soon.
Wait, you defeated those monsters? Fantastic. I'm saved. Take this as a token of my gratitude.
After we get all that done, we can now see how effective our faith build is against Ornstein and Smo. In this fight, we're going to want to take out Ornstein first because he has massive lightning resistance. And once we take him out, we can then use lightning spears all against Smo. From what I read, Ornstein has the most defense out of both of them, but he has much less defense to magic, so this is perfect for our Occult Club right here. I am so happy that we get this right before the fight. Again, for everyone, the issue with these two is always trying to separate them. I usually prefer to be not locked on so I can at least look around my surroundings to see if one or the other is about to attack me. And very bad news, but me and Ornstein actually take each other out. Damn, Giant Smo so hard he killed me before the fight started. I do die again, but I can't even get mad because this synchronization with both of them hitting me, I just applaud them on that. But the objective hasn't changed. We kill Ornstein first, and now we just have to bait out Smo's attack so we can hit him with lightning. You do want to be a bit careful because if your lightning hits any part of his hammer, it just won't deal any damage to him. Even with the Ring of the Firstborn, we don't have enough lightning spears to completely take him out, but we leave him on just a smidge of health, allowing us to just run on in with the Occult Club and just smack him up once, and it's over, finally. I can finally go and get the rest of the equipment I need to make this build much better. We're going to pull the ultimate disrespect move and use their own elevator to get up there, use their souls to put some more points into endurance and vitality, and finally open the door for what we really came here for. Now right here we got the absolute collab of the century. Johnny's been with a lot of ladies, but has this man ever been with Guinevere? You can call me child if that means I get to call you mom. This is a bit of a weird family dynamic because she's saying we have to go and take out her father. And then we can also use ourselves as kindling right after that for the flame. And to help us succeed, Guinevere gives us the Lordvessal, allowing us to finally transport between other bonfires. For our first warp, we're going to go right back to Firelink Shrine, and if you do his quest correctly, Siegmeyer should be here giving us our new miracle, Emit Force. To get the miracle, you have to say yes to this. Using this miracle, you'll shoot out a magic orb that deals area of effect damage. This is great for dealing with clumps of enemies and is our first non-electric damage miracle. So right now I have like 16 miracle spells to use during a fight. And once we're done with that, we go down and place the Lordvessal and open up the other way so we can now go and take out the Lords. So our first objective now is to head on down to the catacombs. After this, Rhea and Nico and Vince should be in the Tomb of the Giants, and completing their questline will allow us to get even more miracles. And I'm also looking for another ring to add to our collection. Also, I don't have a divine weapon, so we are going to have to kill these necromancers so the skeletons don't respawn. And the skeletons are lightweight, so we can also bring in force to knock them off. But I don't have any poise, so as I try to use force, they all just gang up on me. We go through this invisible wall to get the hidden bonfire. We also meet one of the biggest dickheads in gaming, Patches. Also, I didn't remember this, but I did say yes to being a cleric to him, and if you say yes to him and later he pushes you down and you talk to him again, he will attack you because you said you're a cleric. If you try and traverse this bridge after talking to Patches, he will try to rotate it, but I jump right here and I don't fall to my death, thankfully. And now we get the second ring that's going to also help us with our firepower, the Dark Moon Seance ring. This ring grants an additional attunement slot just for wearing it. I currently only have 3 attunement slots, but I do plan on using this so I can have 4. Right now I could bring more stuff for support or stuff for heals or offensive miracles, but it allows me to be much more flexible. We also get another miracle, but I don't intend on using it. This slows down anything around you for at least 10 seconds as if they were over encumbered and they can't roll out. I haven't tried it on enemies though, so I don't know how good it is on PvE, but either way I know there's another bonfire down here and I don't want to keep on going down the entire way, so we go on down this little, I don't know, thing, and then we appear right here to start a cutscene with, I believe his name is Vamos.
Be gone with you. You'll spoil my focus.
We encounter the bone wheel skeletons here, so I equip my shield. I at least still damage my stamina bar instead of me, but if I'm not looking out just like that, we were putting up the ones with a black knight that appears down here. But him and his bro, more bone wheel skeletons, also gank me. And as I'm trying to take a sip, the bone wheel skeleton comes out of nowhere and claps me. But the next boss, Pinwheel, is pretty close to the bonfire, so we just take out the bone wheel skeletons and make it through. Pinwheel is a pretty difficult boss, so I decided to look up the wiki on how to defeat him, and one of his weaknesses is, I quote, everything. And the time it took me to just tell you all that, it's over. Pinwheel gives us the right of kindling, so at certain bonfires we can maximize it to give us 20 Estus whenever we rest at it. And I take full advantage of this by fully kindling the bonfire at Firelink Shrine, so anytime I need 20 Estus, I can just go back here and sit down and then warp back to where I was having trouble. And now I'm going to go through the Tomb of the Giants, but I don't have any light source. I don't even have the skull lantern that the necromancers drop, so I'm just going in here blind, like literally blind. I think I know the way well enough that I've been here enough times to remember it. And on a side note, seeing these glowing eyes in the dark is terrifying.
You are mine! You are mine!
and my bum ass decides to go for this item I see here, and it leads me falling. But ironically, I actually know exactly where I am after this. I know that I am so close to the next bonfire right next to Patches if I just go this way and take a right. And sure enough, I can eventually see the demon ruins with the next bonfire. But unluckily, one of the giant skeletons sniffed his way over to me. And who would have known that an overhead attack can't be blocked? But we eventually clear the bonfire, and I just check out the summon sign because it's got the name of my brother. We climb the ladder, and now we're gonna be talking to Patches. Hey, Patches, I don't really think I see any trinkets down there. Are you
Fuck you, bitch! Shut the fuck up, bitch! Back the fuck up! I'll knock the fuck out of you.
Down here, we find a couple souls and also a skull lantern so we can now light up our way. And down here is where we find Rhea, and Vince and Nico have been hollowed, and we have to eliminate them to protect her.
You're no hollow, are you? Thank goodness. Please be careful. There are two fierce hollows not far from here. They were once brave knights, my former escorts.
We can't fight while also holding the skull lantern to light our way, but luckily for us, we can still lock on and hit them with lightning spears. One of them does possess Wrath of the Gods, so don't get too close to them, or if you're going to at least kill them or stagger them. I told you I'd get you two later. I told you. With them out the way, we can now talk to Rhea, and she'll appear in the chapel in Undead Burg. And when I'm up top here, I don't even talk to Patches, I just try to use force to knock him off, but he always kept on respawning until a point where he just never respawned up top here, but he never officially died, so I don't know where he went. But we return to Undead Parish to now talk to Rhea as she will sell us more miracles. We acquire Wrath of the Gods, literally I think the best miracle in the entire game. This thing activates in no time, and it scales with your talisman by 2.8 times whatever magic adjustment it has. The only downside is you only have 3 of them, but still it is fast, deals tons of damage. I usually use it to just escape, or if I'm going to be hitting a boss with a lot of damage. And another miracle that she sells is Magic Barrier. It is a personal buff that will reduce magic damage by 30%, and we're going to be encountering more enemies that deal magic damage, so this is useful. So I want to collect some more miracles off of Petrus, and to help with the farming I get the Silver Serpent Ring. And I acquire the rest of his copies because I'm intent on killing him. Petrus will eventually kill Rhea. I don't know exactly what triggers this to happen. I think after killing a couple bosses, but I don't like the idea of that outcome, so I just decide to do it myself. And I decide I'm gonna head on back to the Asylum. They have the doll to allow us to enter the painting back in Anor Londo. And we fall through the floor so we can take on the Stray Demon.
Stupid!
This dude isn't really that bad. The only bad thing is his area of effect magic damage, but as long as you stay behind him, you'll be fine. And avoid those butt slams. And god, this game needs a remake so we can get those cheek physics like the Vanguard. He does have a lot of health, but I am holding a ton of miracles right now, so we have more than enough to fully take him out with them. This Black Knight is guarding the peculiar doll, so we just use our leftover miracles to take him down. Yeah, we hit him up with the scraps. We get the doll, and while we're here, we might as well get the rusted iron ring. After getting past all the painting guardians, we go up close and get sucked into the painting of Ariamis. I mostly chose this place because it has the best farming spot, which I'm just going to use to purchase the rest of the miracles, and so I can buy some Titanite to level up a weapon that I intend on using. These poison dudes, you have to take them out by range or backstab, because if not, you're going to be toxic. And as we progress through the level, we get invaded by the Dark Spirit King, Jeremiah. This dude is incredibly resistant to magic. Even Wrath of the Gods does pitiful amounts of damage to him. So Wog won't work, but we still have Lightning Spear, and with his Pyromancy windup, we have an excellent time to hit him. Lightning finishes the job, but I swear this game treats this dude as a boss battle because it gives you like 30k souls. That is so many. To continue, we have to go down to this little cave area with a bunch of bone wheel skeletons, and they got me shook because I got Havel's armor and a shield right now. But we go down and turn this wheel, opening the door that'll allow us to finally leave this place. I also decide to go back here and kill this undead dragon, and it's not anything new. We just kill him with range with lightning spear. Just get to the next clip. As we're leaving, we run into this heavily armored knight, but that armor does not protect him against magic, and just 2 button presses, he's gone. We meet Priscilla, but I don't intend on killing her. I don't think I've ever killed her. I'm just not that type of person, you know? I'm a nice guy. We do leave with the Jeremiah set, not before Johnny gives us a few tips on how to, you know.
My first tip for lasting longer in bed is mind control, or using your mind to slow down the ejection.
And I farm so I can have the Titanite to upgrade the longsword. This is going to be one of my next weapons of choice after I get my next miracle, which we're going to get from Gwendolyn. If you farm Souvenir of Reprisals, you can give them to Gwendolyn and get the best talisman in the game, but I want to keep this more casual, so I just decide to just go after them right now. The fight is pretty much just chasing down Gwendolyn on this infinite hallway. If you get too close to them, then they'll start to disappear, so I prefer to use melee as opposed to miracles. Also, on a side note, don't be a dumbass and just run straight forward to them, please. And I know I said I prefer melee, but Wrath of the Gods is just so quick that I can get 2 in before they disappear. We did put on Magic Barrier to prevent ourselves from getting killed by their magic, and with 2 more Occult Club hits, Gwendolyn goes down. And now we get our real prize, the Sunlight Blade. As I'm grinding for souls, I'll just explain this miracle. This miracle adds lightning damage to your weapon by about 1.8 times the magic adjust of your talisman. Usually, the faster the weapon, the more value you're gonna get from this miracle. Hence why I'm actually gonna be pairing this with the longsword. The thing that sucks though is that this miracle is not affected by the Ring of the Firstborn, so we will not be getting that 20% bonus from it. But this gives us another melee option if we don't want to use the Magic Occult Club. But currently I can only have 1 copy of the spell, and it lasts for a minute, so I really have to make that minute last. We warp back to Anor Londo, but I forgot that the Firekeeper is pretty pissed at us. Since it isn't really a projectile, Wrath of the Gods is just so good at taking out NPCs. And before we go and face Nito, I downgrade my Occult Club to Divine just so I can keep his skeletons down throughout the whole fight. I also decide to go and face Leroy because evidence from Jeremiah, these dudes give a lot of souls. And after killing him, I find out he actually drops a shield that requires faith to handle it, the Sanctus. This shield will recover 2 HP per second. Not 2%, 2% would have been nuts, but not in percents, just 2 HP per second. And it's one of the only shields that require faith, so I decide to use it to see if it's any good. Also, as I'm heading to Nito's arena, this like pillar thing, whenever I run to it, it actually goes down, so I can just continuously run past it. I don't have to face it. I love how you enter Nito's arena taking fall damage. It's my favorite thing. In the past, these skeletons always gave me trouble. If they keep on getting back up, I will not be able to focus on Nito without getting destroyed. So I want my longsword to be my buffable weapon with Sunlight Blade, and trying to hit Nito, it seems like we do 0 damage. But for real though, the damage is actually pretty sufficient. Right here, you'll see one of the negatives is that when some attacks deal AoE or I have to run away from them, it also runs out the timer for Sunlight Blade. So that does kind of suck, but it's also not too bad because we can still hold our Canvas Talisman so we can use more miracles while one-handing our now Sunlighted Blade. Like, I pretty much took down all of Nito's health bar with Wrath of the Gods and the Sunlight Blade, so when the buff runs out, I just resort to Lightning Spears, which I have plenty of since I saved them throughout the fight, so that's why I really like this combo. I make a lot of use out of Sunlight Blade, and then when I'm done, I can just switch to my range options to finish them off quick. In the future, when I want my club back to Occult, I give Andre the Dark Ember. And since I want to see how effective the Sanctus is, I decide to upgrade it to +10. Sadly, this does not affect the regeneration of it at all, just the damage and the stability. And this is really to just showcase we're just getting 2 HP per second. I also have the Firekeeper soul from back at Anor Londo, so I decide to reinforce that bad boy. And next we're going to go after Seath the Scaleless. There are 2 boars in this hallway, but this first one won't go outside, so I just lure it over here so I can hit it with lightning spears safely. Well, I tried to attack it, but like there's no point, I might as well. And since I'm a pussy, I decided to just kill this next one with Wrath of the Gods through the wall. I did not want to face this man one-on-one. And I'm just trying to sprint to Seath so we can get over there and just get jailed up. So I decide to put Magic Barrier in case we get hit with any magic spells. But I don't think I actually got hit with any magic while wearing Magic Barrier at all. But I take the elevator up to meet Seath. And I don't know who this NPC is, but they get absolutely destroyed with 1 Wrath of the Gods. I didn't touch him before this, he just evaporated. And when we meet Seath, we have to die anyway, so I just put on any armor that offers curse resistance so that doesn't happen in our death animation. We wake up imprisoned and take this dude's key, and apparently I'm big enough of a threat that they sound off the alarms when I escape. I take this as a compliment, bro. I believe these are experiments of Seath, and they do go up pretty fast, but again, Lightning Spear, we know this system already. I am triple teamed and do almost get killed here, but the very instrument they used to sound my alarm also saved me in the end. We shut off this god-awful music. And when we kill these 2 enemies in particular, they drop 2 miracles, Soothing Sunlight and Bountiful Sunlight. But with the archive key, we decide to bust on out of here. There's a bunch of people spitting magic at us, so I decide to put on Magic Barrier before I go into the archive again. This is the archive? Or I don't know. We just have to rotate a couple of these stairs because we have to make it to behind a bookshelf that'll allow us to get to the next bonfire inside the Duke's archives. I'm surprised I was able to hit this dude with lightning spears compared to how slow it usually is. But again, we now unlock the shortcut so we can now rest at this bonfire. And now we have to do the worst run back. Well, it's not the worst, but one of my least favorite run backs to get over to Seath. Even if I saw the snowflakes falling, I would not have the balls to have walked there. I just wouldn't have believed there would have been an invisible platform. If you just waltz into Seath's arena, loosey-goosey, all these claims are going to follow you, so I lure them away so I can enter without any disturbance. To help with this fight, I put Magic Barrier. How did you get in here? I wanted to do up close damage with Sunlight Blades since I am sure dragons take more damage to lightning, but I realized I don't really have any armor. And the dude made of piss ice decides to just fall off for me. He did me a favor right there. Havel was a bishop according to his miracles, and he hated Seath, so I don't think it's a bad idea to be rocking his armor when going into Seath's arena. Sunlight Blade is absolutely tearing Seath up, but I was not looking at my HP bar this entire time, and I get clapped up even wearing this good armor. So yes, we return to it, blah blah blah, lightning spear, blah blah blah. Once we're out, we decide to Sunlight Blade our sword, and again, we now take down Seath. I think it's pretty poetic that as Havel we took him down. So after taking down Seath, we can now go to New Londo and take on the 4 kings. It's so satisfying killing all these ghosts with 1 miracle. I will say I really hate this part because I have to kill the ghosts, because if I don't, they'll just absolutely gank me once I'm going up the ladder. But after that's done, we head on up and get the key to the seal. And so we can continue further, we unflood New Londo. I was intent on using Soothing Sunlight, which means I have to join Guinevere's Covenant. I thought it was a better version of her punishment. Apparently, it's the exact same thing. It takes more miracle memory, but it can be applied to an ally. That's the only difference. I thought this thing would give me like extra HP regeneration or something. And we're gonna have to go kill that doggy boy, so I decide to farm enough souls to get the crest of Artorias. The whole point of farming was to just go through this way, so I just run all the way to Seath's arena. And I don't want to kill the dog, but we need this ring to get into the abyss, alright? And I skillfully dodged Seath's first attack. I wanted to absorb some damage, so I'm running Havel's armor. Okay, Havel's armor wasn't doing it for me, so we go to Jeremiah's set and rock him with the Sunlight Blade. I know it's sad we had to put Seath down, but we never got the limping animation, so it wasn't really that bad, I promise. Now that we have the ring, I go back to New Londo and I drop down to this specific place because I don't want to run through the whole map again. So we're up to the 4 kings and I literally don't know how to actually do this fight without Havel set, so I always run it. We start off with a Soothing Sunlight, and again I thought it was better than Punishment. I didn't want to use Sunlight Blade because if I killed this first king quickly and I had to wait for the other one to spawn in, that's just unused potential from my own weapon. But once we're running it, that damage is actually pretty high again for a straight sword. Even his big magic attacks, well, like I can survive them, I drink up, and I can still be in the fight without having to worry about healing because of regeneration, even though this is the worst version of regeneration, but we'll take it. Not only that, but this crest shield, it blocks 85% of magic, which is so good. I was feeling myself a bit and thought I could outrun this. I was so close to finishing that fight too. I was so close. Next attempt, right at the beginning, I just decide to use my lightning spears before I switch to Sunlight Blade. Like, I already have them, so I might as well start off the fight with this. Eventually, we're doing so well that we just have to face the last king on his own with 15 Estus. And with our 2 remaining lightning spears, we finally take out the 4 kings. Really wasn't that much, only like 2 attempts. So miracles weren't that bad right here, but I have to thank mostly Havel's armor. And last up, we have to kill the Bed of Chaos, but to save our boy Solaire, I decide to give up 30 humanity to get that shortcut. We go down to our bonfire in the Demon Ruins, and I completely forgot, but I decide to go get the very large ember from Anor Londo since I didn't get it earlier, and I do intend on upgrading this straight sword all the way up to level 15. Not only that, special guest here, we bring back the Occult Club, especially up to +1. Next up, we have to defeat the Demon Fire Sage, and his attacks are pretty slow. This dude is lethargic, so he can't really get to us. Okay, that jumping attack clears a lot of distance, but it actually takes quite a while, so I can still roll out of the way even after I give him a lightning spear. I can actually still hit him from what I thought was pretty far. Even after the explosion, I can still hit him. And it's so addicting, but I ended off with Sunlight Blade. I just love seeing the damage off of this thing. And I learned you can actually get a Paladin set after killing Leroy. It should be in the arena with Nito. It is pretty heavy, so I decided not to use it unless I'm gonna be sure that I'm gonna be medium rolling. Alright, so before I forget, I decided to go over to the shortcut and unlock it and kill the Sunlight Maggot so that we don't forget about Solaire losing his purpose, being depressed, and then dying. And next up, we got the Centipede Demon because I do want to fight like all the bosses. I should be called the barber because I'm absolutely scraping the Centipede Demon's gonads with this lightning. Like, if I get the timing wrong, I will just hit him as he's trying to attack me, which leads to me hitting underneath him. But once he gets close, we use Wrath of the Gods. We can actually use Wrath of the Gods on the little centipede that comes out of him, so we get 2 in 1. And again, Sunlight Blade. And I'm telling you, look at this absolute damage we're dealing to him in just like no time at all. I would not expect a straight sword to do this. No surprise, kill him first try. Easy. Solaire is down on his luck, and sometimes you really just need someone to hear you out. So let's give him that time of day.
Why? Why? After all this searching, I still cannot find it.
Bed of Chaos time, so we cross over this lava field and acquire the secret hidden bonfire, so we don't have to do that entire run back either. And we go up and find the next Witch of Izalith, and we just 3 combo her. She goes down faster than the last decade. Can you really believe 2014 was 10 years ago? Also, what path do y'all take? I always take the right whenever I decide to go after the Bed of Chaos. It's just natural to me. The first one has no obstacles. It's really easy to get to it, so we do this one first. I stick mostly to the outer edge of the arena and jump if I ever have to cross any hurdles. I'm surprised I can actually make this jump, and I'm lucky too, because by the time I get on it, the hand has just hit that location. But on the same life, we actually take out the left side too. And when I'm going back to the middle, the hand only tries to swipe at me when I'm already closer to the middle without any holes. And we could just fall in the middle without any consequences. We have not gotten hit or knocked off yet. So on the first attempt, we do Bed of Chaos. Thank God I don't have to do that all again. And I didn't have the range to hit it, but I did use Wrath of the Gods to just snipe that. But there we go. We got all 4 Lord Souls now. But it's not over since we have to do the DLC, so I decide to just kill Havel through the wall with Wrath of the Gods. Sorry man, you deserved a fair fight. Now I have to kill the Hydra, but I don't think I can actually hit it with Lightning Spear. I tried, I get as close as I can to the edge, but I don't think it really hits. Like, I even gaslight myself into thinking that the edge doesn't stop here. Like, why did I do that? So in the end, we mostly just use Wrath of the Gods and our sword to damage it. Now we gotta go kill the piss-sized version of these golems, and you have to reload the area for him to spawn. Oh my god. I know it doesn't mean anything, but I thought because he was yellow, he would actually resist lightning, but he doesn't, unless he does, but he died in 2 shots. So right now we free Dusk and have to go all the way back to the Duke's Archive to kill this one specific ice golem so we can drop the pendant that we need. But now we can start the DLC, which is really where I got a lot of frustration from. No time to waste, we just go right into the Sanctuary Guardian fight, and god damn, these bosses really are so much quicker. I try to do a Wrath of the Gods and he still hits me. This diving attack really does buy you the most time. I can hit it with a miracle, or I can heal or deal damage. It's very safe if you dodge it. And I'm rocking like no armor, so after I get stunned and hit, I'm almost dead. Again, it's so quick, I dodge, but I don't think I can dodge again, and he hits me with 3 others. I decide to apply Sunlight Blade, but he's so quick and nimble and goes around in the air so much that he just runs out my timer so fast. Even when I can attack him, there are times where he just dodges. And when we do land a hit, we only deal 77 damage, which, to be fair, what else did I expect from an enemy that shoots lightning? We switch over to the club, and yeah, that does much more damage. And I encounter it here, but I think if my character does like a 180 and then a 180 back, he just cancels his own miracle. Overall, the club is our savior for this fight. But once that's done, we can now enter in the forest with Elizabeth begging us to save Dusk. We ain't dilly-dallying, so I mostly just run past these enemies, say hello to our boy Calamite. We pick up the Guardian armor. I don't use it. I just wanted to tell y'all that, even but we make it to Artorias' fog wall and then unlock the shortcut. Sit at Firelink so we can get our 20 Estus back. And now we're ready for him. We start the fight off by applying Sunlight Blade. I actually chose the straight sword because Artorias is so fast, so he needed a fast weapon as well to compensate. I'm not good in this fight with a slow one. What usually tricks me up are those somersaults, and also I can't believe my character just absolutely ate that sword. And even if he does it multiple times, you can hit Artorias in between somersaults and then dodge out the way, at least with this weapon. Eventually Sunlight Blade runs out, so we go to our mace, and that is not a lot of damage. He's buffed up, so we have a higher chance of dying, but whenever he does that big jump attack, that is a good chance to heal up. Our melee weapons aren't going to deal that much damage, so I decide we have to use Wrath of the Gods while we can. Not only that, when he goes up to his buffing stage, that's when we can hit him with lightning spears, and I am confident that we can knock him out of this if we hit him with 2, but we're just too slow with the lightning spears unless I predict when he's about to do it. So I'm much more cautious with this fight. I will only hit him with my sword when I know I can hit him. I have to feel very confident at the moment, and mostly just dodging around so he buffs up again so I can hit him with more lightning spears, like right here. His HP was so low, so when he did this, my cheeks clenched, and because he's so fast, I do not feel safe using an Estus near him at all. After dodging a somersault, Artorias growls, and I'm gonna pause it right here, but that made me think that he was about to buff up, so I got my lightning up in time. But he actually wasn't. I don't know what that is, but he just decided to growl. He ends up jumping towards me, and I think him doing that resulted in my lightning spear dealing extra counter damage, allowing us to actually kill him in return before he hits us. If we got hit with that attack, we were done. I asked my friend Sabu if I should use all my souls to level up before Manus or before Calamide, and he said I should do Manus. So we go over to the Serpent to sell any souls that we can get more out of by selling to him, and then use the rest on us. We also sell a bunch of these coins that we've collected throughout the game. At first, with all these souls, we're able to level up about 4 times, and then I consume more leftover souls to spend on an extra 2 level ups. We rush past the first half of Uasil Township, and I love using this shield to block this dark magic. I'm usually pretty iffy with the timing on that. To meet Goth, we have to go up here and kill this mimic so we can get the key up to his tower. We go on and get this little shortcut back up to the township, and I did not play my cards right because I corner myself in this little elevator where it's not even here yet. But I get my revenge with the Sunlight Blade, hitting all 3 of them with this. Can someone tell me the name of this enemy? Because I don't know what it is. I just know that my sword bounces off of him. He does seem to take a good amount of damage from magic though. And finally we make it to the bonfire right before the chasm. Also, my friend Sabu reminded me that I should also get the Dark Pendant. I don't believe I've ever used it during the fight with Manus before. But finally we enter the chasm, and I want to be lightweight, so I switch to King Jeremiah set. We follow this cat, which I'm going to call Blueberry because that's one of my cats, and they lead us right to an invisible wall where Seath is currently trapped by a couple humanity enemies. So sorry for what we do to you in the future, bud. I haven't done this fight in a long time, so I'm actually pretty scared of it. And I'm thinking that he's probably faster than even Artorias. So I'm wondering if I can even get any miracles off on him and I have to rely on either my shitty sword or my occult club. I don't remember any of the combos, my timing is off, and after 3 hits, we're already clapped. Round 2, and this dude has the potential to hit us like mid-range, and with how fast he goes, he just jumps over my bolt, and that's round 2 right there. On my 3rd attempt, I do Sunlight Blade to see if this does any more damage, and it's really not helping me out. Whoever invented 3rd time's a charm was really lying to me. I decide to put on the Havel set, and it does allow me to survive a couple more attacks and allows me to learn them much better. And I don't know what it looks like to you, but that lightning damage does not look that good to me. And we also try to use Wrath of the Gods, and we have fewer of those too. We only have 3. So this is one of my first times using the pendant, and you know what, this is actually pretty good. I wish I used this my first time. And now I see firsthand how devastating this grab is. It should be fine though, as long as I'm patient I can just roll out of it, even with Havels. This attack though is very quick to me, it's hard to read, so a lot of times I still get hit by the whole barrage. I get knocked around and I try to put my shield up, but I don't do it in time and he kills me, and this is not working. We gotta upgrade ourselves a bit before we come back. I go down and farm these enemies in New Londo so I can get some Titanite chunks so that we can upgrade our longsword all the way up to plus 15. And I really didn't have to do it, but I end up killing Rhea for her ivory talisman since it has a better magic adjustment. I still feel like such a dickhead for doing this. But the Ivory Talisman has about 13 more magic adjustments, and since the offensive miracles multiply magic adjustment for their damage, it's more than 13. And I rock the Paladin armor with half of Havels so that we're not fat rolling. So I upgrade the Paladin armor. Okay, we upgraded our defense and our offense. The fight should be looking better now. And is that less damage? This lightning spear is boosted by counter damage and it still doesn't do as much as last time. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but we are actually doing significantly worse. We do end up dodging this attack that's really difficult for me to dodge, and we go in with the Sunlight Blade, and since we upgraded the sword, it's definitely dealing more damage. With Havel's armor, I resist getting staggered and it allows me to get so many hits in. But we're so close to killing him, but he ends up hitting me with like this shotgun dark magic blast, and it's over. We were so close. And the problem was I wasn't wearing the Ring of the Firstborn. If I had worn it, I probably could have killed Manus that attempt. Okay, yeah, this is the damage that we should be dealing. And thank God for Havel's armor because we have some close calls with the HP. We take down Manus to below half HP with lightning spears and Wrath of the Gods, and we still have emit force, and we're getting better at dodging this one attack in particular. Again, you already know the deal, taking out Sunlight Blade, but he's actually pretty quick so we don't get too much use out of it. And I'm down to my final Estus as he's down to his last 2 HP bars as well. But I usually attack after he does this jump, and I also am able to get this silver pendant off during this one attack as well. And I instantly f***ed that up by not avoiding the next one. We had to use our Estus, so right now, as long as we have the Sanctus up, that's our only form of health regeneration, just 2 HP. Again, just wait for him to jump at us, but when he does this jump in the air move, I don't know how to dodge it, so I get hit. And right here, I try to search for humanity, but I am not risking it. I feel like I'm going to die if I go for it. But Manus jumps one more time, sealing his fate as we can hit him up with the last 2 swipes of our longsword. And even after all that, we still have Calamity. I also found out the Crown of the Dark Sun will boost our miracles by 10%. So if I just rocked that with my Havel's armor, I would have been dealing even more damage. We go to Goth, but you have to be killed by Calamity before he even attempts to help you out. So that's right, boy, just come on and kill me. Please, please, I'm welcoming it. Calamit's laughing at me, but now who's gonna be laughing now as soon as this dude snipes your ass?
See how God runs dragon. Truest shot was never loosed.
I don't know if it's because of the crown, but he is a dragon, and I'm sure they take more damage to lightning. So I feel like that's actually a decent chunk for one lightning spear. But we go on under him and pretty much play Twister with all of his attacks and hit him with 3 Wrath of the Gods all at once underneath him. I do eventually buff up my sword, but I'm feeling myself a little too well because I don't get out of the way of that attack. I knew it was coming, I saw it, but I don't know why I didn't get out. Then Calamite hurls all of his spit at me. It's yellow, so I thought it was lightning damage, but I hear that it's both physical and magic. He almost takes us out, but we avoid his stomp and we're still in it for the fight. I think underneath him, it's harder for him to attack you, and I feel more comfortable with Wrath of the Gods over here. But he's low and we're pretty much out of miracles, so again, enchant the sword, and then we take him down. He was actually much easier than Manus. I always thought Calamite was harder, in my opinion, but today this was much easier. And finally, we put all of the Lord souls into the Lordvessal so we can move on to the kiln of the first flame. We go down to see the wasteland at the bottom floor. Does anyone know why this light is here? A lore reason, and why there's like phantom black knights crossing from the left to the right? We avoid all the black knights so we can get into the fog wall. And finally, we're going to be facing Gwyn and ending this nightmare. You already know at the beginning we had to parry that man and hit him right in that groin. Jesus, that's brutal. I Sunlight Blade up, but I am bad at parrying these attacks, so he shreds my HP. And then he eventually grabs me and launches my ass across the floor. Again, I'm a big fan of falling off video game platforms. Did you know that? We head on in and parry him again. And as we're behind him, we hit him with Wrath of the Gods, and this deals a really good chunk of HP. But I heal at the wrong moment and he takes me out again. What did I say? What did I say? I love this shit. So eventually I rock Havel's armor and the fireplate ring because I'm just done with him right now. With the poise, we can bring him all the way to half with our Wrath of the God. And I'm bad and he roll catches me. And later on I'm doing much better, and even when he grabs me, he can't fully kill me from half HP. But I'm lucky because he gets stuck on this pillar, allowing me to heal twice. To get our focus back, we parry him so we have a nice couple seconds to just readjust as he's getting back up. And I just decide to trade with him. His last few attacks don't even hit me, but there we go. We end the game killing off Gwyn. I wanted to end this off wearing the paladin armor, and now we can finally finish it and link the flame. Except not. I prevent the new age of fire and welcome the dark in.
My lord, bless thy safe return. Let Calf and Fraft serve your highness. We are here to serve your highness.
I don't know what's ahead of us, but I have faith that we can make it through. The time for the gods is over, and it's time for humanity to go back up top.
Let true dark be cast upon the world. Our Lord hath returned.
Thank you guys so much for watching. It was really fun being able to complete this game again. And in my opinion, Faith is pretty strong, especially in the base game. If you don't know about Lightning Spear, early game will be much harder, since one of the few miracles you actually have to scale off of Faith is heal. But with Lightning Spear, most of the bosses are just a cakewalk. Not only that, they're not entirely quick, so you can still shoot some miracles off at them without fear of retaliation, or at least you'll be able to dodge before they even hit you. But I usually prefer to wear heavy armor with poise, so in the cases of the faster enemies, we can still get some of the miracles off without worrying about being staggered. You still have some variety in your melee weapons, as you can upgrade either a Cult or Divine to get magic attached to it, or like you saw earlier, you can also use Sunlight Blade so you can put electric onto it. You have magic and electric to take advantage of when using Faith. And it has some nice utility thinking about Magic Barrier, and I didn't use it, but Tranquil Walk of Peace, that is good, I hear, at least in PvP now. So you have that available to you as well. Once we're in the DLC, most of the enemies are actually a little too fast in order to get miracles off reliably, especially Artorias. It's still possible, you just have to be really patient or wait for the attacks that leave them vulnerable for a couple seconds. Overall, I think Faith is pretty viable. I didn't have to go really out of my way to grind for the best talisman or to grind for other miracles like Great Lightning Spear. And again, it's pretty versatile, so I give Faith a great recommendation. And I always liked Faith because it's like turning your belief into power. And I know with the lore, a lot of it is believing in the gods, but for me, I would say, I guess, I think of it as my character believing in themselves in order for Faith to work. That as long as you keep on trying and believing, you'll eventually get stronger and eventually push through. I think you can have one of the strongest characters in strength or skill or something like that, but if they don't have the mental fortitude to continue on or the ability to look into the bright side of things, I don't see them lasting that much longer. I feel like Faith is what kept a lot of these people from becoming hollows. And just on a side note, if anyone's watching this video and got it to this far, I hope you're doing well. I don't know you, you don't know me, but regardless, I do pray for your safety. Just a reminder that you guys are indeed loved. If life is looking grim at all, just know there is light at the end of the tunnel, and your existence matters so much in the web of connections you've made throughout your entire life. Always remember that you have value. And on another side note, if you're watching this on the release date, I am going to be streaming Dark Souls 2 at around like 6 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're not watching on a release date, I'm probably still going to be streaming. Maybe it's not Dark Souls 2, but it'll be some type of Dark Souls game. We're going to be asking the same questions. Is Faith viable in Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the Johnny Sins? So yeah, check me out. And thank you to anybody that has made it to the end. Thank you to anybody that has even just watched the video at all. I appreciate y'all. Goodbye then. Be safe. And don't you dare go hollow.